Hey, welcome back, everyone. I'm making a little video today, and it's basically a bio on myself and how I got into beekeeping. It was supposed to be a virtual tour as well. I got the idea for the video basically from a suggestion from one of the subscribers. A couple weeks ago, I put out, a video, and at the end of it, I said anybody can feel free to reach out to me and ask, about any topics they'd like to see covered. And one subscriber, Joe Elam, has done just that, and he suggested a virtual tour slash bio and how I got started. So, Joe, this video is for you. Unfortunately, can't get out into the yards today. The It's just raining out. I was planning on today going to all four of my yards, and I wasn't counting on the rain. Today was my only day off. My next day off is on Friday, and it's supposed to rain then too. If it doesn't, and the weather changes, maybe I will, do a second video and do an actual tour of my yards. So I guess this video is all about me. How did I get started in beekeeping? It was a whim. It was just a complete impulse idea. I was flipping through a catalog. I don't even know what it wasn't even a beekeeping catalog. It was like one of those Harriet Carter, whatever mail order things. And there was, you know, a beehive that you could buy. And I'm just like, try bees. So I did a little bit of research. I bought Beekeeping for Dummies. I'm not a huge fan of the beekeeping, or I'm sorry, for the For Dummies series books, but I do kind of like them for a prerequisite for things to give you an idea and, kind of point you in the right direction at least. So I read Beekeeping for Dummies. I thought I had it all, and I was like, oh, it seems easy. I know it all. So bought my bees, put them in a box, and the journey began. So I started out with one nuke because it was so late in the season, and I just had to start instead of just waiting to the next spring like I should have. I think it was like July 8th of 2013. Bought a nuke, put it in my single deep, and I fed them like I was supposed to do. They were doing what they were supposed to. They were drawing out the wax. Everything was cool. I think around September, I noticed things weren't just didn't look right. It wasn't growing as much as I thought it should, and I requeened, and it got built up. I put the second box on, but it clearly wasn't time enough. So my first hive, I overwintered as a single. So I didn't think it was going to make it. So I ordered four more packages that following winter, come like January. Turns out that hive did make it. So I had to scramble for woodenware. I did that. And then I went and got my packages. Now at this point, I had five hives building up. Rewind back to that first hive. I did treat it with one of the mite treatments. And I then read a book, about treatment free. And I'm like, oh, this is great. It sounds so easy. Just don't treat your bees and they'll build up a resistance to the viruses and the mite loads. And I didn't treat my bees that next winter. So I had five hives going into winter untreated. All five hives died about halfway through the winter. And I think we could attribute that to mite loads and mite viruses. So thankfully, before they died, before I even knew they were going to die, I had actually already ordered four more packages just in case. So that following spring, I started all over again. And it was actually pretty good because I had all that drawn equipment. So it wasn't for nothing. I had drawn equipment. I set up four more hives. I went onto the forums and I posed some questions. Some people really helped me out. Some people just want to hear themselves talk. I was getting very frustrated with the forum. One member in particular on the forum that I was on at the time reached out to me in a direct message, and he kind of took me under his wing. He was actually literally a virtual mentor, and he helped me get those bees through winter. He got me on a treatment regimen. He basically taught me how to get my bees through winter successfully, and that is step one of beekeeping: getting your bees through winter. He then said, give me updates over the winter. Let me know how they're doing. Any questions, let me know. He was awesome. And I did just that. Come springtime, he followed up. He's like, "How are things?" I'm like, "They're all alive. They're good." He's like, "All right, next thing you got to watch out for is swarm management." And he taught me swarm control. So from that year, by the end of year two, I had a good idea of how to get my bees through winter and how to manage swarms. He still kept in contact with me, and my my operation just grew from there. I went from those 5 hives. I, splits, when they needed them. I increased my hives. I then got another yard. I met a farmer who was looking to have honeybees. I didn't charge them. They didn't charge me. It's just a gentleman's agreement. I'm still there. It's my main yard with most hives. I have 23 hives there now. It then at that point kind of got treated more like a business. I kind of always treated it like a business and kept track of my expenses because you don't want a hobby to make you go broke. So I always did treat it like a business. But I would say years 4 and 5, it really was like I started writing down in the ledger. I started, worrying about profit margins, and it really took off from there. From one little hive on a whim to what I have now, which is I run anywhere between 30 and 40 hives. I slim down for winter time. I do a lot of combines just because it's easier to manage fewer hives over the winter. But that one yard, that first yard, the farmer's yard, I have 23 hives there now. My home yard only has about 3 hives. I don't want too many hives at home. I have a smaller piece of property. It's a neighborhood, and I just don't want to push the envelope with neighbors since I have these other larger properties that I can keep bees at. I have 2 other yards. One has 4 hives, one has 6 hives. I just started those recently within the past year or so. I'm not looking to really grow anymore. I'm trying to hold it back a little bit. So if you learn how to get your bees through winter and learn how to manage your swarms, you will grow your operation all by itself. You don't have to push your bees. You don't have to say, I want this many hives. I want that. It's going to happen. Those bees want to swarm come springtime. That's their natural tendency. And you take advantage of that. When they give you signs that they want to swarm, you split them. You increase your hives. You stop them from swarming and you double your hives. And that's it. That's how I got into beekeeping, man. I don't know how long I'll do it for. I'm still pretty passionate about it. I mean, I do kind of lose interest in hobbies, from, time to time. I pick up new hobbies, I lose interest. I get more hobbies, I lose interest. And a few hobbies you know, they kind of stick. Music being one of them, and beekeeping. And beekeeping has crossed over into other things like gardening. I love gardening now. So I would say music, beekeeping, and gardening are the 3 hobbies that really kind of stuck with me. I won't even mention all the other hobbies that I got into that have just are just a faint memory at this point. So that's how I got into beekeeping. Joe, I appreciate the suggestion. And anybody else, lakeviewApiary.com. Go to the mail, the email contact us section. Let me know anything you want me to cover, any topics, any questions you have, and that I can make a video on. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.